it was the British team of George B and the oldest man in the event, Ian Chapman, who set the pace and grabbed the first special task win of the 1987 Camel Trophy. The USA were still to come, but they could only manage fourth fastest over the 100-metre course. For Britain then, maximum points, but their good fortune wasn't to stay with them. This was to be their first and last stage win. As the people of Madagascar celebrated 40 years of independence, the Camel Trophy trekkers forged deeper into the mountains and towards some of the most difficult terrain of the entire journey. In the first 3 days, the Camel Trophy train travelled over 400 miles. On day 4, it managed a mere 27. The tropical monsoons have only recently passed, and many trails are little more than rivers of liquid mud. Brazilians Gilberto Castro and Paulo Bergamaschi opt for the outside lane in their attempt to bypass a deep mud patch. Just inches from disaster, the South Americans are forced to rethink their strategy. But as always with the Camel Trophy, there's help near at hand. The British try the straightforward attack. And make it, blazing a trail for those to follow. Malaysia. Then the Canaries find the same tactics to their liking. And the Camel Trophy convoy assembles ready for its next challenge. At the tiny town of Ansoe, there's a stop to cool off after the exertions of the last few days. It's been a constant 35 degrees during the long and gruelling days. And that's outside. In the cabs themselves, it's been well over 40 degrees. Time to refuel the hard-working Range Rovers as the town goes about its business. That's a sign for the local beer, a terrible temptation for the trekkers, but a clear head's essential for the Camel Trophy. They drive by night. But there's no more welcoming sight than the overnight camp just outside the town, where Graham Fazakali briefs the drivers on the vital importance of good maintenance.
Go around some of the suspension fixings and prop shaft fixings and all those sort of things. As I said before, if you take a lot of care now, it'll save a lot of trouble later on.
There's always midnight oil to be burned.
Sur le petit extérieur.
Sur le petit extérieur du 13. Du 14.
14. Je l'ai, c'est bon, impeccable.
17.
But the prospect of a fish feast afterwards makes it all worthwhile. This silver tube is home for the Camel Trophy adventurers for the duration of their stay on mysterious Madagascar, the island which was once part of mainland Africa, but broke away 1 million years ago. A clear and bright Madagascar dawn. And Camp Camel Trophy prepares to move on. The terrain is still very rough and progress is painfully slow. In these conditions, it's vitally important to make sure that every bit of equipment is securely lashed down. Excuse me, you Dutchman, you seem to have forgotten something. Never mind, the friendly Belgians have picked it up. Not that the Netherlanders even seem to have missed anything. But that spare wheel seems to have a mind of its own. It doesn't want to stay aboard the Belgian vehicle either. And it looks like they could do with an extra wheel. It's a case of send for the winch again. Gently does it. Every yard travelled is a hard-fought advance towards the ultimate goal. The Italians have been the most successful nation in the competition since it became truly international in 1982, winning in Papua New Guinea and in Brazil. Now they're attempting their third win with the impressive crew of Mauro Miele and Vincenzo Tota. Miele, a former World Championship motocross rider, and Tota, an off-road rally specialist. The second special task is to be a navigation trial, as organiser Chris Drew explains to some of the competitors.
If we have 14 ties for first place, that's what we're going to have, because we can't have a rally race. That's not what it is. It's an orientation thing. And 4 hours is the maximum. So you've got plenty of time. Oh, yeah.
Everywhere on the route, the villagers are anxious to see just what's going on, and they turn out in their thousands. The Spanish team of Victor Montan and Jamie Puig get underway. Teams have to navigate their way across country to a predetermined point within the 4-hour time limit. The organisers have measured the distance as 44 kilometres, and the team clocking nearest to that distance wins. At the finish, there were only 300 metres between the first 10 teams. And it was the Americans, Don Floyd and Tom Collins, who picked up the 100 points, clocking up exactly 44 kilometres. There was a tie for second place between Holland and Malaysia. But there was disaster for both France and Spain. The French pair of Jacques Leopold and Thierry Pacaud missed their destination and travelled 55 kilometres. And the Spaniards fared even worse after resetting their odometer back to 0, making it impossible to assess their performance. Nothing stops just because it's nightfall. The navigation exercise goes on well after dark. And there are still rivers to be crossed by the blazing lights of one of the British-built Land Rovers, driven by one of the backup crews. Progress is painfully slow, especially where the road consists of just 2 girders. The Malaysians are the guinea pigs this time.